Hey, sisters and brothers, welcome to week 72 of Read Through the Bible in 2 years. In our Old Testament readings, we are still in the Old Testament book of the prophet Jeremiah. If you recall that in the year 587, the armies of the Babylonian Empire finally broke through the walls of Jerusalem, and they tore those walls down. They burnt the temple to the ground. They killed about a third of the people that were in Jerusalem. About a third escaped out the back door, later to come back into Jerusalem and live among the ruins, and another third were taken as slaves. They were marched in these great chains of human chattel to the city of Babylon, which was about 800 miles away, and there they lived in exile. This became known as the Babylonian exile. Jeremiah was one of those people who had escaped out the back door and then would later come back into Jerusalem. But God still used Jeremiah as a prophet. And in these chapters that you're going to be reading, Jeremiah sends a number of letters to the captives in Babylon. He sends these letters, and they are letters of hope that says, yes, keep up the faith that there will be a restoration of Jerusalem someday, that you will come home. If not you, maybe your children or your grandchildren will come back, and Jerusalem and the temple will be rebuilt. Have hope. It may take 70 years, but God will take care of you, and God's people will survive. In the New Testament readings, we are in the book of Acts, chapters 13 through 15. And this is the beginning of Paul's missionary career and Paul's first missionary journey, which he takes Barnabas and the young man named John Mark with them on this first missionary journey. And as was the custom of Paul, each time that he would go into a new city, he would begin in the synagogue. He would begin to proclaim this message of Jesus Christ in the synagogue. And more often than not, that message was rejected. And so Paul then would go to the local Gentiles, the local non-Jewish people, and proclaim that message there. And there is where Paul had his greatest success. Well, after his first missionary journey, he comes back to the city of Antioch, which was kind of the home base for these missionary journeys. And he's called to Jerusalem by the heads of the Christian church. And this begins in chapter 15, the first of the great debates in the Christian church. What do we do with these Gentiles as they become Christians? Because don't forget that the first Christians, all of them were Jewish people. They had all followed the laws of Moses. They all came from the same basic culture. They honored the Sabbath. They would eat a kosher diet, and they were all circumcised. The men were all circumcised. What do we do with Gentiles? Do we make them be circumcised as well in order to be Christians? Do we make them follow kosher diet? And so it became this debate about what do we do with these people? And in the end, they came to a consensus that no, it was not necessary for Gentiles to become basically Jewish or to follow Jewish customs in order to be Christian. That they can be Christian and come from their own particular cultures and customs as well. Unfortunately, this debate would continue through Paul's career, however, as there were some that Jewish Christian community that didn't accept that. And oftentimes they would come behind Paul and try to proclaim a different message. This is something that you read about in the Paul's letter to the Galatians, which we've already read. So, folks, thank you. Thank you for your persistence in reading through the Bible in 2 years. May it continue to deepen your knowledge of Scripture. May it also continue to deepen your love for this God who speaks to us through Scripture. Thank you.